Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today we're going to be talking about what has to be one of the most eventful days on Twitter that has taken place in years at this point. Now, I'm sure most of you have seen about this or at least heard about what was going on here, but today we're going to take an in-depth look at everything, kind of break it all down. So for months now, we've been seeing this kind of like combined duo of Elon Musk and Donald Trump kind of running the country in a way. I mean, JD Vance is the vice president on the ticket for the Trump administration, but Elon Musk has been much more publicly facing than Vance has been. He's been at the White House and at Mar-a-Lago. He's been basically buddy-buddy with Trump even since before the election now, but as of pretty much yesterday, it seems like this relationship between the world's richest man and the world's most powerful man have basically fallen apart now. I mean, these two, it seems like, are at pretty big odds. I mean, we have Elon Musk openly calling for Trump to be impeached. We have him fiddling around with the idea of creating his own political party to try and compete against the Republicans and Democrats in actual elections. We have Trump saying that, the EV mandates for Elon should have been cut by Biden a long time ago. I mean, it's absolutely insane. So this all started before the election when Elon Musk, he transformed. I mean, for years before this election, Elon was very outwardly a Democrat or liberal, if you will. I mean, one of his biggest businesses is these EVs at Tesla and whatnot. He was a tried and true liberal for years. And then in the 2024 election run-up, he switched up on that, I guess, ideology or those principles, and he decided to support Donald Trump for a plethora of different reasons. He ended up, I guess, campaigning basically on his behalf. I mean, the guy put like $250 million or something of his own money out of his own pocket to work to get Trump elected, donating to his campaign. And then when Trump inevitably did win the election, then Musk came in basically to the presidential administration and was the guy behind Doge, which has been this like kind of new combination of people mostly taken from Musk's projects to come in and try and cut the government deficit and slash unnecessary or waste spending or whatever, right? Well, over the last few days, Elon and Trump basically have just fallen apart. Their relationship is gone now. I mean, Trump has been kind of touting this new bill that he's trying to get pushed through Congress called the Big Beautiful Bill. Now, this is basically just like a spending outline that he wants to get pushed through Congress. It allocates money to a bunch of priorities that he has. I think like $100 billion he wants to go to like border defense. He's trying to increase the military budget. It slashes all kinds of other things, you know. It's basically just reallocating funds. Trump claims that it's going to cut the deficit and whatnot, but other people claim that it will actually add trillions over the long run to the deficit. So it's kind of having trouble getting its way through Congress right now. There's a lot of people in Congress, in the House and Senate, who oppose it. I mean, even the Democrats obviously oppose it, but Trump has basically been trying to get this bill pushed through. It's going to be one of the biggest challenges and biggest moments of his presidency here. And Elon, in the last few days before all of this went nuclear, came out speaking out against the bill, because obviously Elon's whole thing that he's been doing with the Doge shit or whatever, he's been trying to cut government spending. He's been trying to cut like the wasteful money shit or whatever. Whether or not he's been successful at doing so is a completely different conversation, but that's his whole like angle on this. But this bill increases the amount of spending on a lot of different shit. And so Elon has very outwardly opposed this bill, saying that it's not a good bill. He doesn't support it. He thinks that it's like a bad thing for the administration. And Trump took that pretty personally, you know what I mean? He didn't seem to appreciate Elon going around and talking like this. So yesterday, shit completely hit the fan though, man. I mean, it went completely fucking nuclear. So these two are basically fighting on their own social media platforms, you know what I mean? Like Elon is over on X, which he owns, just talking his shit or whatever, and President Trump is over on, I think it's like Truth Social or something like that. He's talking his shit from there, right? So I don't mind Elon turning against me, but he should have done so months ago. This is one of the greatest bills ever presented to Congress. It's a record cut in expenses, $1.6 trillion, and the biggest tax cut ever given. If this bill doesn't pass, there will be a 68% tax increase and things far worse than that. I didn't create this mess. I'm just here to fix it. This puts our country on a path of greatness. Make America great again. Now, Elon and Trump after this basically just start going back and forward. Trump kind of continues his tirade on his own platform with the two following tweets. Elon was wearing thin. I asked him to leave. I took away his EV mandate that forced everyone to buy electric cars that nobody else wanted, that he knew for months I was going to do, and he just went crazy. The easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars, is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts. I was always surprised that Biden didn't do it. Now, Elon, up until this kind of point yesterday, right? I mean, he was kind of keeping it cordial, like he did vocally basically say he didn't like Trump's bill. That was part of it all, right? But it wasn't like he was coming out here saying like, man, fuck Trump, I hate this guy, anything like that. So at this point, you know, everything is kind of on the table. We all kind of see it. The relationship between the two is definitely falling apart. Well, Elon on his own platform over on Twitter just goes completely fucking nuclear. Now, I want to remind everybody before we go any further here, Elon Musk over on Twitter has 220 million followers. I mean, that is like 2/3 of the entire United States population right there that is following this guy on Twitter. So what he says is quite influential and it gets around, you know what I mean? It's not like he's tweeting into the void. Not only that, but Elon very publicly reworked basically the entire algorithm on this site to promote him no matter what. Even if you don't like the guy, even if you don't read, even if you have him blocked, you will be seeing some Elon tweets. Now, Elon goes completely nuclear here, right? And he, after leaving the Trump administration, after having a black eye that went unexplained, a lot of people have a conspiracy behind that. I'll get into that later in the video. But he puts out 3 tweets that go absolutely nuclear, right? So, is it time to create a new political party in America that actually represents the 80% in the middle? Now, as of me recording this tweet has 5.2 million votes, 80% of them or so. So about over 4 million of them are voting yes. And honestly, this does kind of track when you look at a lot of the like polls and the information out there. The vast majority of Americans feel disenfranchised by both major political parties. The majority of Americans don't like the Republican Party. The majority of Americans don't like the Democratic Party. So it makes sense that most people would vote yes on this, right? Because I don't think it's just me. I think most of you watching this video too, we're all just fed up with the political system in this country. I mean, we're all aware that it barely works. And if it does work, it's working for oligarchs and for billionaires. It's working for political lobbyists, both foreign and domestic. It doesn't work for actually anybody here, you know? It doesn't work for you, me, anybody else. So this makes sense, but obviously this is not the end of it. The best is yet to come. Now, then Elon makes another tweet where he, I guess, retweets somebody. I don't know who the fuck this is, but he's basically saying Trump's tariffs are stupid, right? So Elon quote tweets this and says, the Trump tariffs will cause a recession in the second half of this year. Now, once again, this tweet, as of me recording this, has almost 90 million impressions on the platform. So we can assume that anywhere from about a quarter to damn near a third of the US population, in terms of people or accounts who saw this, just saw this tweet, right? And then, of course, the actual nuclear bomb that everybody saw yesterday, this probably has to be one of the biggest tweets that's ever been made on the platform. I mean, I have hardly seen tweets go viral like this. Now, time to drop the really big bomb. Real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT. Now, this tweet has over 1 million likes. It's been viewed almost 200 million times. It's a pretty insane tweet, you know what I mean? Now, in terms of the actual message, right, that Trump is in the Epstein files or whatever, I made a video a few months ago when we were purportedly getting the Epstein files release. The new Trump administration, we're releasing the Epstein files. Now, what we ended up actually getting was a bunch of conservative influencers getting flown out to the White House to sit in front of a press camera where they hold up, you know, the document file, the folder or whatever of the supposed Epstein files, where all it was the same shit we'd already seen. Any important information was redacted. There was nothing of substantial, whatever, you know, substantialness or substance. None of that shit, right? None of that shit happened at all. It was just basically a photo op, okay? That's what we saw. We never ended up seeing it, and according to Elon, he's accusing that the reason that is because Trump is in said Epstein files. So this is, you know, about as bad as it can get. I mean, there's a lot of think pieces going around. obviously, right now on this tweet. I don't think very many of them are accurate. Now, when it comes to Trump supposedly being in the Epstein files, honestly, if I was in Vegas, I would put everything I have, I would bet the entire house on that being the case, right? And the reason is because I think basically all the powerful people in this country are in the Epstein files. I don't think, Trump is the only politician that would show up in any Epstein files. I have to only assume that Democrats, Republicans, independents, actors, musicians, writers, whatever, right? All the powerful people in Hollywood, who live out there on the coasts in their big fucking mansions on the East and West coasts, all the politicians, all the famous people, all these people were participating in this shit. That's my personal opinion. I'm sure one day that will be at least partially vindicated if the truth ever does come out. So yeah, in my opinion, Trump probably is in the Epstein files. And I have to assume that probably every major president and presidential candidate that has existed in the last 30 or so years is probably in there to some degree. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Elon himself were in the Epstein files, considering we have photographic evidence of both Trump and Elon with Epstein himself. So it's not like this is some brand new thing, right? I mean, we've been talking about this for a while, but to come out and make this tweet in front of everybody is obviously a pretty massive moment. And Elon also went on to claim that he basically won Trump the election. Without me, Trump would have lost the election, Dems would control the House, and the Republicans would be 51-49 in the Senate. Such ingratitude. Now, once again, I do think this is partially true. It's the same thing that happens in every election, right? You have people like George Soros who bankroll the Democrats and fund them and give them money to campaign with. Elon did the same thing for Trump, and on top of that, he bought one of the world's biggest social media platforms. He constantly campaigned for the guy on said platform. He loosened all of the restrictions and whatnot that were holding back the right wing on said website for years before that, and basically unleashed the right wing of the American populace back onto said social media platform. So yeah, I mean, Elon did do quite a bit of legwork that helped Trump get elected. In my opinion, the two biggest factors that got Trump elected: Elon Musk's support and involvement in the administration and campaign, and the assassination attempt that he survived, right? Those two things, I think, really swung the election in his favor and helped him win this. Now, the thing is about Elon, right, making all of this happen, right, saying all of this shit, oh, Trump's in the Epstein files, all of this, right, is it insinuates that Elon has known this for quite some time. Now, the problem with Elon knowing this for quite some time, basically assuming and admitting that Trump is apparently involved in human trafficking, possibly of underage people, sexual crimes, things like that in these Epstein files, right, is Elon is basically telling everybody in this, hey, the guy that I've been backing and I threw $250 million behind to get elected, and my best friend over the last 8-9 months or whatever, yeah, that guy might be a pedophile and a human trafficker, but I didn't have a problem with it until, it started affecting me, until it became something that involved me, right? Now, it is a pretty insane thing for him to come out and say, it's definitely some brutal honesty or whatever coming out of Elon here, but why didn't you say this earlier? Why was this something that you didn't care about up until right now, when your relationship with this guy frays over this bill and you're basically out of the White House or whatever? Why wait until now to have a problem with all of this, right? You should have had a problem with the human trafficking or whatever before this if you knew about it. But even then, Elon got quite a bit of support for all of this, right? And there's some conspiracies going around about this whole thing. Like I said, Elon Musk had a black eye publicly a couple of days ago. Trump made a couple jokes about giving him makeup for it to cover it or whatever. And people are insinuating now that maybe there was some sort of fallout behind the scenes between these two. Maybe Elon got roughed up a little bit by the Secret Service or somebody. I have to assume if that were to happen, Trump is not the one throwing any fucking landing blows. I mean, the guy's 78 or 80 or something like that, right? I don't really see him out here Mike Tysoning anybody, but I mean, who knows? We're never probably gonna know what happened there, right? I don't know. Honestly, that's probably the fucking least important, least implicative part of this entire situation, but the real conspiracy that people are now starting to spread, and honestly, I'm just gonna say it, I think this is fucking cope. There's no way around it. This is just straight up copium. Inhale the copium straight through the mask level shit. shit, but people are now insinuating that Elon and Trump are actually setting all of this up to troll people, okay? I guess the new wacky conspiracy of the day is Elon didn't leave the White House. He and Trump are actually sitting there with their feet kicked up in the Oval Office. They're sitting there playing this out like it's some sort of WWE turn to heel moment or whatever, and they're actually still buddy-buddy, which, I mean, come on now, let's be so fucking serious. I mean, this conspiracy theory basically suggests that Elon Musk, one of the most famous people on the planet, one of the most influential people on the planet, the guy that has basically been the right-hand man, almost like the publicly facing vice president of the country in a way, right? He is apparently trolling the entire country with the president of the United States into thinking that the president is a human trafficker, a pedophile, a liar, who is creating a bill that is going to ruin the country. I'm supposed to believe that these two are concocting this scheme for what exactly? What benefit does this give either of them? What benefit does Elon Musk have coming out and saying this? I mean, after Elon went on this tirade on Twitter, on the stock market yesterday, Tesla shares dropped like 20%. His net worth dropped billions of dollars within a few hours. His reputation took a pretty massive hit with, Trump supporters. There's a lot of Trump supporters online right now who are absolutely creasing Elon over this entire thing. And I mean, for the president, right? Why would he ever greenlight something like this? Like, I think you should tell the entire world I'm a human trafficker, I'm a pedophile. Why would he do that? You know what I mean? Like, what benefit does he gain from that in the fucking slightest? It's just that's such an insane conspiracy theory to me. Like, there's literally no basis in reality. Oh, but it's actually just a big troll, guys. It's a big old joke, guys. They're playing the fool of us. These are the type of people, man, that's just like, how do you really fucking think that? Like, I'm not trying to be an asshole or whatever in this video here, right? But how do you unironically believe that? That these guys are just sitting around lobbing these insults, having this big public meltdown, where truthfully both of them look pretty fucking dumb. I mean, they both have just contradicted themselves terribly with this entire thing. It's apparently just a big setup for the memes, guys. Do you think that these two think about shit like this in the same regard that you with your 30-follower Twitter account do? These guys are making billion-dollar decisions with every tweet that they make, or every post that they make. One of these guys is in control of the fucking nuclear launch codes, okay? And you're telling me that you think, oh, it's just a big old meme, brah. They're trolling, trust. There's no troll here, okay? This is very clearly a pretty big fuck up on both of their parts. I mean, like I said, on Elon's half, right? Oh, this guy's in the Epstein files. Well, there's a chance Elon's in the Epstein files as well. Let's be serious. Let's not put our heads in the sand and pretend like that would be crazy. We've all seen the picture of Elon with Ghislaine Maxwell. We've all seen that. And then Trump, I'm surprised Biden didn't cut the EV subsidies and whatnot for people like Elon. I was surprised he didn't do it. Okay, well, for the last half year now, you've been praising this guy. You've been praising him for the incredible technology he brings the world. You've been praising him as the guy who has reinvigorated American interest in space exploration. You've been telling us how wonderful of a guy he is, but then he opposes the bill, right? He opposes a bill that, truthfully, half, if not more, of the government is also currently opposing. And now suddenly, oh, Biden should have cut his EVs. Biden should have done this. Biden should have done that. I can't believe it didn't happen earlier, right? They both have just completely sent two different messages than they've sent about one another for the last half year or so now, right? Now, obviously, the bromance or whatever here between the two had to come to an end at some point. The two had to have their mutual parting ways. Now, it was always planned, even from day one, that Elon was not going to be a permanent addition to the White House staff or whatever, right? He was going to be brought in as a special employee. He was going to basically oversee Doge while they cut a bunch of shit, while they cut a bunch of programs, they stopped spending in certain areas, they dismantled US aid, all these other things, right, that Doge went through and did. But after he was done, wrapping up the expense sheet and whatnot, trying to cut billions, well, initially they said they were going to cut $2 trillion in spending. Then it was $1 trillion. As of right now, I don't think we know the full amount that they've actually cut. I think they claim it's hundreds of billions, but I think other people, including economists, are saying it's only a few billion. We really probably don't know the actual number that's been cut, but that was the plan. Elon was going to come in, he was going to fix this shit or whatever, cut all this spending, then he was going to leave. Obviously, the timing is a little insane. You know, he's suddenly leaving the White House after coming out and opposing what will likely end up being the most consequential legislation of Trump's second term. But I mean, that's the way the cookies crumbled here. You know, that's the way everything fell here. So watching it kind of burn and fizzle out like this is just insane. You know what I mean? Because I think a lot of the right wing in America kind of became enamored with this idea of Trump and Elon being like Michael Jordan and Dennis Rodman, right? And just coming in and doing everything, man. We've been hearing all this. Well, you can actually just do things, you know? You can really just do things. Well, did do things including calling each other pedophiles and waste men? I mean, it's just, I don't know. Like, ultimately, who came out on top in this whole thing? I really don't know. Honestly, I don't know if there is a win to be levied out here. I mean, Elon kind of did go savage mode saying some of the shit that he said. He also went on to threaten to decommission the Dragon spacecraft from SpaceX. If you didn't know, over the last few years, NASA, I don't want to say they've become useless because they're still a reputable space program in their own right, but SpaceX has taken quite a bit of the launch load away from NASA. I mean, even just recently, we saw there was this situation where there were some astronauts that got stuck up on the International Space Station for a few months longer than anticipated. NASA didn't get to go up there and get them. I don't think they had the means or the capability to do so. And so SpaceX stepped in and they did it for them, right? So SpaceX, in a way, has become the main primary function of the US space industry, right? And so when Trump, I guess, made comments about cutting the subsidies away from Musk, Elon publicly threatened to decommission the Dragon spacecraft that NASA is currently reliant on to keep going to space. I mean, that's a pretty big hit, obviously, to the entire space exploration of the world, considering as it stands, SpaceX is putting exponentially more launches out there than anyone else on the planet. But it's just one of those things where, like, both of them kind of have egg on their face from this whole thing, right? Trump's biggest ally in the election and post-election has now publicly disavowed him, called him a human trafficker, you know, basically made the worst allegation about him you can make. Elon's over here acting like he's going to create his own political party. He may even make his own run at president someday. We really don't know. He's over here insinuating that the 25th Amendment should be put into place and that J.D. Vance should be elevated to president and Trump should be impeached. I mean, let's be real. Trump has already been impeached twice. He was impeached during his first term twice. I don't think Trump is going anywhere. Unless Trump, like, literally passes away in the Oval Office, I don't think he's going anywhere until his term is up. You know what I mean? The guy has already been through 2 impeachments. He's survived an assassination attempt. He's survived the fallout of the 2020 election and the whole January 6th thing, right? He's survived the entire, like, media blitzkrieg that has happened against him for over a decade now. I don't think he's going anywhere, man. Like, you can impeach him, sure, whatever, right? If that's what you want to put out there as an idea, but what did it do the first 2 times? Did Trump go anywhere? No. I mean, it did nothing. It literally did nothing to him. So I don't see a world in which Trump is going to be impeached and Vance will become the vice president. I don't see that happening. Elon creating his own political party, that very well may happen. I mean, he has the money to bankroll an operation like that. But ultimately, man, I mean, this is just a humiliating breakup for both of them. I mean, both of them really didn't come out looking like they won, in my opinion here. I mean, it was basically just one of those things where we all got to witness the guy who basically runs the entire country get into a spat with his best friend, the richest man in the world, right? So I think it's like it's a pretty bad sign, honestly, when Kanye West, he makes a tweet, bros, please no, we love you both so much, right? When Kanye West is sounding more like, you know, rational or whatever, having the, like, most normal opinion in the group or whatever, right? I don't know, man. That's a pretty big day, I think, for the world. But anyway, this entire thing has just been insane to watch, right? It's a pretty crazy public feud that has broken out. I guess we'll have to see how this continues to play out through the rest of Trump's administration. We'll see if Elon is actually going to take it seriously, the prospect of starting his own political party, maybe, and this isn't confirmed or anything, but maybe making his own run at the presidency. Who really knows, man? I mean, just a pretty insane day to see all of this go down. But anyway, with that being said, thank thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel, follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @SubTheOptimus. Make sure to check out Shoptimus down below. Thank you to my Watch Optimus subscribers. Your support helps the channel tremendously. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus. Well, watching the entire, I guess, political administration we see fall apart, and signing out.